What's up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and as we roll into the weekend, I really wanted to take some time and put together a sort of beginner's guide for playing Countdown. You know, this is something I've wanted to do since the game mode came out, and that's due to the fact that I receive messages pretty much on a daily basis from people saying they haven't tried it out as yet or they're intimidated to give it a shot, so I wanted to give you a quick little breakdown on not only what you should do when you first jump in, but why you should definitely try this game mode out. Now, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well. And remember, we are currently having a giveaway for an Xbox Series X. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winner will be announced on July 4th of this year. Now, once again, my friends, to be clear, this is for new people jumping into Countdown, or those of you that have tried it a few times, maybe you're a little bit confused on what to do, so I want to walk you through a few things that I tend to do when I play. So first of all, you can see here, when you hover over the icon for Countdown, that is where you're going to pick your targeted loot, and remember, one of the best things about this game mode is even in the middle of your gameplay, you can change the targeted loot, so if you happen to get something you want, you can switch it anytime. Now, when it comes to finding a group, you do have options. You can create your own countdown and invite friends to it, or just call for backup, or you can start matchmaking. Now, what I do is I go to my map, I scroll over to matchmaking, I choose countdown, and 9 times out of 10, within like 5 seconds, I usually find a group. At that point, all you need to do is hold up in the directional pad, accept the invite, and then you're good to go. Now, the number one question I get in regards to actual matchmaking and joining a group is, do you have to be on mic? Do you have to have the microphone? The answer is no. I have done so many different countdowns and I've yet to speak with one person. Keep in mind when I say that, I'm not like being Mr. Antisocial. It's a fact that, you know, a lot of people are kind of hesitant to do a game mode like this because they're like, do I have to be mic'd up? Is there certain coordination? The answer is no. You're going to pretty much follow the group. So again, if you are, reluctant to play because you're worried about talking to people or something like that, you do not have to say a thing. Another question I get is, what type of build should I run in Countdown? Now, I will leave a link to this build that you see right here. This is a build you're typically going to see most people run. It's a heartbreaker build. There are so many different ways to do it, but again, for Countdown, it is highly effective. However, with that being said, run with whatever build you're comfortable with. If it's a Scorpio build, that's great. Whatever you like to run with, like a run and gun type of build, you're good to go. And as always, if you have any recommendations, my friends, that you want to pass along, please leave them in the comment section down below. One recommendation I want to pass along is make sure you have enough space in your inventory before you start Countdown. You can see I have 50 spots open in my inventory, and that is because you are gaining so much loot when you're playing. You don't want to have to miss out on anything or take some time and break stuff down as you're playing. Because remember, this is a timed game mode, and I've accidentally deconstructed certain things that were god rolled that I meant to save. So again, when you have at least 50 spaces, you should be good to go, so that way you can scoop stuff up and just keep moving. With that being said, let's now get into what to do when Countdown actually starts. Now, you know there are 8 people and it's broken down into 2 groups of 4. Now, with my group, you can see that the game recommends, you see that little waypoint, it recommends, hey, go in this direction. However, you can see my squad mates are heading in another, and the reason they're going that way is because they're headed towards those 3 red icons on the map, and you're going to go to them in order. Now, the reason you want to hit those up are for 2, actually. There are 2 reasons you want to hit those up. First of all, you're going to deactivate the countermeasures, which means that you're going to gain buffs to your characters. And secondly, there happen to be hunters that are guarding each one of these locations, and taking them out now at the beginning of the game mode makes exiting much easier when you're at that final stage in the game, which I'll show you in a little bit. Now, as you can see from the gameplay, whoever gets to the container first is going to see a prompt to deactivate the countermeasure. Once it's done, you'll see a green light and the screen will say, as you saw, countermeasure subverted. Now, at that point, you'll finish the encounter with the hunter, pick up the loot, and then once again check your map and see what route the rest of the group is taking. Now, you can see everyone here is going in order of those countermeasures because, as I mentioned earlier, deactivating the countermeasures at the beginning of the game mode not only gives you buffs, but it also makes leaving the game after you've completed the 2 encounters you need to and the main objective so much easier, because when you finish the main objective, the timer immediately goes to 4 minutes, and at that point, you want to be able to get to the extraction area as quickly quickly as possible, and if you have to encounter hunters at that point in the game mode, it's going to make it much more difficult to get there in under 4 minutes, take out all the hunters and other NPCs that are there, so I definitely recommend doing this pattern. So now, my friends, we're going to fast forward to the point in which all of the countermeasures are subverted, you've got all the buffs, you're good to go. Now what I then do is I check my map. Now the next step you're going to do in Countdown is you need to take out 2 encounters and then go to the main objective. Now when I look at my map at this point, I'm trying to figure out what is everyone doing. Do you have 4 people going towards one encounter, 4 towards another? Do you have all 8 players staying together? Which, by the way, is fine. I mean, there have been times where I've had all 8 players, stick together for the entire thing, and we absolutely rip through it. Now in the example I'm showing you right now, each subgroup went to their own encounter. You can see my group went to the turbine, we finished that encounter, and then moments later, you see the other group finished their encounter as well, and I can see that because you'll see at the top of the screen it says Administration Encounter Completed. Now at that point, the main mission is unlocked and you all want to head towards it. And when I say main mission, I'm referring to the main objective. So you can see once that starts, you are prompted, first of all, it says on the screen, and you'll hear an audio cue as well that the main objective has started, and you do get a waypoint showing you where to go. And for those of you that are new to this game mode, it sincerely helps out because it's really easy to get turned around sometimes. Once the main mission is complete, again, you're going to be prompted, and then you will see a timer say 4 minutes, and that means obviously you have 4 minutes to get your ass out of there. Now there is a loot chest that becomes available. However, you have to determine whether you want to take the time to pick that up or if you want to head just to the extraction point. Usually what I do is I see how we've been working as a team, and if we've been ripping through it, I definitely grab the chest because sometimes there's some really good loot there. At this point, my friends, this is where the fun begins. You're going to encounter a bunch of hunters, a bunch of NPCs, and like I said, when you're in a group that's really working well together, like 9 times out of 10, I'm clearing this with no problem whatsoever. And as you'll see in a moment, you wind up getting so much loot from completing this mode. I mean, again, it's going to take you maybe 18 minutes total. You're getting anywhere between 35 and 50 pieces of loot, usually on the average, so it's incredibly, like I said, efficient. Now, when it comes to the timer, you can see right now we're sitting at 1 minute and 47 seconds. Now, that is the countdown until you have to fire the flare to get the helicopter. Now, to be honest with you, I didn't have to fire it this early. I could have waited a little while, but I saw that we had taken out most of the hunters, so there wasn't that much left to do. However, if you do not fire the flare that early, you will have a little extra time to encounter some more NPCs that continue to drop from a helicopter every 15, 20 seconds. And that to me is one of the best things about this, is that, once you've cleared all the hunters and you just have those NPCs dropping down, it's like fish in a barrel. It's a lot of fun, and it's an opportunity once again to get more loot. Now, after you fire off the flare, you have a 25-second counter until the helicopter shows up. And at that point, you will see another timer pop up. This one is going to be for 30 seconds, and that is how much time you have to get on the extraction helicopter. However, as you're waiting, you can once again see these NPCs dropping down, take them out, get more loot, but keep an eye on that timer because you want to make sure you get out of there before it runs out. And as we make our way to finishing up this aspect of the video, I want to once again just encourage those of you who have not tried Countdown as yet to really give it a shot. It is so much fun, it's really addictive, and more importantly, as far as loot goes, it is such a highly efficient farming method. You get so much stuff. And I know for many of you out there, this was not the type of game mode that you were actually looking for when they were announcing something. I mean, for me, I was hoping for something that you could play on your own or in a group. And as someone who typically does play on their own, I can tell you right now, this has easily become my favorite game mode in the game. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It really is efficient for farming. Now, another great aspect is that when you play Countdown, you earn Countdown resources, which you can then spend at the Countdown vendor. Now, what's great about this vendor is they always have 3 named items for sale, and these do rotate on a weekly basis, and there can be DZ exclusive items in there as well. Now, the other great part is that all of these caches, the named caches, the optimization cache, exotic cache, these are always on sale. So you can play Countdown all the time, buy caches non-stop, and again, get a ton of good loot. And once again, a friendly reminder to new and returning players, remember that named caches can have Dark Zone exclusive items in there. So for those of you that do not like going into the DZ, it's a great way to get some items you may have been looking for a long time. And as I start to wrap this video up, one final recommendation I want to pass along to new and returning players is that when you go through Countdown, again, you're getting a ton of loot. Truly take your time when you're going through it because you don't want to accidentally delete something that's really strong. And the reason I bring that up, my friends, is I have done that before. I've accidentally deleted items I meant to mark as a favorite, so take your time, mark it as a favorite, and that way it ensures that you can't accidentally delete it. Now, as you can see here, the majority of the items I picked up on this countdown run, I really don't need, so I'm going to mark them as junk and then apply those towards my expertise level. And at the end of the video, you'll see when I donate those items as junk, I do get a nice little chunk of change towards my expertise level. And I want to make sure I mention this is post that whole rollback thing, so now when you donate things, what you see should be accurate in regards to what you should get. With all that being said, my friends, I'm going to start to wrap this video up. Oh, that's a nice mask right there. That's a beaut, Clark. Yeah, gotta make sure I mark that as a favorite. I'm probably going to re-roll that core. Of course I'm going to re-roll the core attribute because everything else is maxed. But again, yeah, whatever. Always take your time, my friends. You want to look for stuff like this. But anyway, as I was saying, I want to take a moment as always and thank you all for your incredible support of this channel, and remind you, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know in the section down below and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. On that note, I'm going to let the rest of the video play out. However, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, but most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.